Russia's covert military intelligence operations have long been a matter of intrigue, and in recent years, no unit has captured the world's attention more than Unit Covert 29155. Military intelligence operations have long been a matter of intrigue, and in recent years, no unit has captured the world's attention more than Unit 29155, an elite branch of Russia's military intelligence, the GRU. Responsible for some of the most notorious and destabilizing covert operations in recent history, Unit Covert 29155 operations in recent history, Unit 29155 has been linked to assassination attempts, sabotage missions, and political interference, particularly across Europe. This unit is part of a broader strategy that Russia uses to exert influence and destabilize regions without overt military action. In this video, we'll explore the origins of Unit 29155, their notable operations, and their recent involvement in attacks targeting Ukrainian allies. Let's start by understanding how this unit came into the public eye and what makes it such a potent tool in Russia's geopolitical arsenal. The origins and role of Unit 29155. Unit 29155 operates as a clandestine arm of the GRU, Russia's military intelligence service. While the GRU itself has been around for decades, Unit 29155's existence only became publicly known in recent years, when it was linked to several high-profile incidents across Europe. The unit is thought to have been established in the early 2000s, following the tenure of President Vladimir Putin. Putin, a former KGB officer, has always placed significant emphasis on intelligence operations as a key component of Russia's strategic capabilities. Unlike traditional military units, Unit 29155 operates entirely in the shadows, engaging in sabotage, assassination, and destabilization efforts. Their missions are designed to achieve political and strategic goals without the overt use of military force, making it difficult to trace activities directly back to the Russian government. Reports suggest that Unit 29155 is composed of elite operatives, many of whom have prior experience in special forces and intelligence roles. These individuals are trained in a range of operations, including paramilitary tactics, psychological warfare, and covert sabotage. The unit operates under extreme secrecy, with little to no public information about its internal structure or specific personnel. However, investigative journalists and Western intelligence agencies have been able to piece together enough information to highlight some of their key operations. Notable operations and escalation of activities. One of the most significant incidents attributed to Unit 29155 was the 2018 poisoning of Sergei Skripal and his daughter, Yulia, in Salisbury, England. Skripal was a former Russian double agent who had worked for British intelligence before being exposed and imprisoned by Russia. In 2010, he was part of a spy exchange program, eventually settling in the UK. However, his past activities made him a target for retribution. In March 2018, two GRU operatives traveled to Salisbury and poisoned Skripal and his daughter using Novichok, a Soviet-era nerve agent. The attack was particularly shocking not only because of its location, in a peaceful British town, but also because it involved the use of a chemical weapon in a civilian area. The attack ultimately failed to kill Skripal, but it had deadly consequences for others, including a local woman who later came into contact with the discarded poison. The British government quickly accused Russia of orchestrating the attack, pointing the finger directly at Unit 29155. In the aftermath of the Skripal poisoning, international attention focused on Unit 29155, and intelligence agencies began linking the unit to other incidents across Europe. Among them was a failed coup attempt in Montenegro in 2016, where the unit allegedly sought to prevent the country from joining NATO. Montenegro had long been a part of Russia's traditional sphere of influence in the Balkans, and its decision to join the Western military alliance was seen as a blow to Moscow's strategic interests. During the attempted coup, members of Unit 29155 were reportedly involved in plans to overthrow Montenegro's government and assassinate the country's then Prime Minister, Milo Đukanović. Although the coup was foiled, the incident underscored the unit's ability to operate across borders and engage in direct political interference. Recent operations and ties to Ukrainian conflict. In more recent years, Unit 29155 has shifted its focus to Ukraine and the surrounding region, following Russia's annexation of Crimea in 2014 and the ongoing conflict in eastern Ukraine. Since the annexation, Ukraine has become a focal point of Russia's foreign policy, and Unit 29155 has played a role in a variety of operations aimed at destabilizing Ukraine and undermining its alliances with the West. One of the most notable examples of Unit 29155's involvement in Ukraine came in the form of targeted assassinations of Ukrainian military commanders and political figures. Although much of this activity remains shrouded in secrecy, Ukrainian and Western intelligence agencies have linked several high-profile deaths to Russian operatives, specifically members of Unit 29155. These assassinations are part of a broader strategy of weakening Ukraine's leadership and military capabilities, making it more difficult for the country to defend itself against Russian aggression. Additionally, Unit 29155 has been tied to cyber attacks against Ukrainian infrastructure. These cyber attacks have targeted everything from government ministries to the country's power grid, disrupting daily life and instilling fear in the population. By combining physical operations with cyber warfare, Russia can maintain constant pressure on Ukraine without engaging in direct military conflict. This hybrid warfare approach, blending traditional covert operations with cyber tactics, has become a hallmark of Russia's strategy in the region. Unit 29155 has also been linked to operations targeting Ukraine's allies. As Ukraine continues to strengthen its relationships with Western countries, particularly NATO members, Russia has taken steps to disrupt these alliances. For example, recent reports have surfaced suggesting that members of Unit 29155 were involved in a campaign to destabilize Czechia, a staunch ally of Ukraine in the region. This included an explosion at a munitions depot in 2014, an act that was later attributed to Russian operatives working with Unit 29155. The goal of this operation was to weaken Czechia's support for Ukraine and disrupt the supply of weapons to Ukrainian forces. Another significant recent development is the unit's alleged involvement in attempts to assassinate Alexei Navalny, the Russian opposition leader who had spoken out against the Kremlin's actions in Ukraine. In 2020, Navalny was poisoned with a Novichok-like nerve agent while on a flight in Russia, an attack that drew international condemnation. While Navalny survived, the attack is widely believed to have been orchestrated by the GRU, with potential links to Unit 29155. This attack is part of a broader campaign of targeting individuals who challenge Russia's official narrative, including those critical of its activities in Ukraine. Tactics and hybrid warfare. The activities of Unit 29155 are just one element of Russia's broader use of hybrid warfare to achieve its geopolitical goals. Hybrid warfare refers to the blending of conventional military tactics with unconventional methods, including cyber attacks, disinformation campaigns, and covert operations. This strategy allows Russia to weaken its adversaries without the risks associated with open military conflict. One of the key advantages of hybrid warfare, and specifically Unit 29155's role within it, is the ability to operate in a gray zone, that is, a space where the rules of engagement are unclear and the lines between war and peace are blurred. By utilizing covert operatives, cyber attacks, and disinformation, Russia can pursue its strategic objectives without triggering a full-blown military response from its adversaries. This makes it difficult for countries like Ukraine and its allies to effectively counter Russia's activities. In addition to physical sabotage and assassinations, Unit 29155 has been involved in disinformation and propaganda campaigns aimed at weakening political unity in Europe. These campaigns often seek to exploit social and political divisions within countries, spreading false narratives through social media and other platforms. By doing so, Russia can sow discord among its adversaries and prevent them from forming a united front against Russian aggression. One of the most notable examples of this disinformation strategy was seen during the 2016 US presidential election, when Russian operatives were accused of meddling in the democratic process through cyber attacks and propaganda. While much of the focus has been on cyber operatives, it's believed that covert units like Covert 29155 units like 29155 played a supporting role in orchestrating the broader campaign. The challenges of countering Unit 29155, given its covert nature, Unit Covert 29155 nature, Unit 29155 presents significant challenges for Western intelligence agencies and governments. Its operatives often operate under false identities, using fake passports and aliases to travel across Europe and carry out their missions. In many cases, the true scope of Unit 29155's activities is only discovered after an attack has occurred, making it difficult to prevent future operations. One of the main difficulties in countering Unit 29155 is the problem of attribution. Cyber attacks and covert operations often leave little physical evidence, and Russia has consistently denied involvement in any of the incidents attributed to the unit. This makes it difficult for Western governments to respond decisively, as they may lack the concrete proof needed to hold Russia accountable. In response to these challenges, several countries, including the United Kingdom and the United States, have increased their focus on counterintelligence operations. This includes ramping up surveillance on known GRU operatives, sharing intelligence across borders, and improving cyber defense capabilities. However, Unit 29155's operatives are highly skilled and well-funded, making it difficult to stay ahead of their activities. The future of Unit 29155 and its impact on global stability as tensions between Russia and the West continue to escalate. It's likely that Unit 29155 will remain a key player in Russia's covert operations. The unit's ability to carry out destabilizing activities across Europe and beyond makes it a valuable tool in the Kremlin's effort to undermine Western unity and expand its influence. With the ongoing conflict in Ukraine and Russia's growing isolation on the global stage, Unit 29155's role in hybrid warfare is likely to expand. As Ukraine continues to build alliances with the West, particularly through NATO, Russia will seek to disrupt these relationships, and Unit 29155 will play a central role in that effort. Whether through assassinations, cyber attacks, or disinformation campaigns, Unit 29155 will continue to operate in the shadows, shaping the geopolitical landscape in ways that are often invisible to the public. The global community must remain vigilant in tracking the activities of this elite unit and developing strategies to counter its influence. While Unit 29155 may operate in the dark, its impact on international relations is clear. The question now is how the West will respond to this growing threat and whether it can effectively combat a force that operates outside the traditional rules of engagement. The future of global stability may well depend on the answer. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more awesome content. Also, make sure to turn on notifications by clicking the bell icon so you don't miss any future uploads. Drop a comment below if you have any questions or suggestions for future videos. I'll see you in the next one.